Come on in and cuddle up with me. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Come cuddle as I'm sitting here getting all nice and warm with my blanket. Guys, I tried to record this video more than once. The first time it was in my car and I was like, I don't like it, so I'm not posting it, which is why no video went up last week. And so it is literally Sunday before Monday when I usually post. So we're gonna try to run it straight through. So if it's your first time around here, my name is Frances and I am a stay-at-home homeschooling mom, working mom, and this year it's been something. And we are going to chat about all of that, some of the books that I'm reading this month that I have been like really wanting to read, but I haven't gotten to yet because I had other things that I had to read first. And so, yeah. How have you been doing? Tell me in the comments. Before I get started, I really want to listen to you and your requests. So if you can, in the comments, ask me a question about homeschooling or something that you're dealing with right now that you're really struggling with. I really want to focus more on helping you guys. And I know I come up with ideas and this, that, and the other, but sometimes I just want to help you. So yeah, drop all of that information in the comments. And if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button and hang around with your girl. When we first started this school year, we still are. What do I mean? We still are. So we have two homeschool groups, and one is all day and one is kind of like midday. But right now, because they're in plays, we are there till at least 7 o'clock at night. We went from one play to another. So now the next two that my kids are in are Alice in Wonderland and The Prince of Egypt. So yeah, one's in the ensemble, one is Tweedledee. And so, yeah, it takes a lot of time and effort to really be in these things. And as I move forward next year, I'm feeling like I need a little less. I really am. I'm feeling like anything that's outside needs to, I feel like it needs to start after lunch. And so, I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. We'll probably still be in the same groups, but it's like one of them I might move closer to home because they have more than one location. So I might do that because it's been a lot. And when I started out the year, or like a few weeks before, I didn't even know what my word was going to be. And I was talking to my therapist and it just hit me like, yeah, mindfulness. I'm really trying to sit back and be more mindful. What I would love this year is to really create pockets of time where I can sit and really just think and create. And I do have 2 goals for this year that I'm really making sure that I'm doing, because I want to write more, I want to share more, I want to help out my homeschool community. And I am no veteran homeschool mama, but we are ending our 5th year, walking into our 6th soon, and I am, I don't know. It's it's like one of those things, like I didn't expect this to turn into like an actual journey. When you start homeschooling your first year, you're like, yeah, we're just gonna try this, and then you just like, oh wow, we got to homeschool for real. And so yeah, being mindful about how it's serving not only me but each of our individual kids. And that's something like I feel like I am really drawn to as far as homeschooling. So I feel like a lot of my stuff is going to lean towards that way, and just knowing how to really pay attention to all the parts of our homeschool and not just go, 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 go. Me and being mindful and walking into this year, not only am I getting older as a woman and trying to manage house, home, now a job, which in the beginning, it was like, oh yeah, this is good. So, but now it's like I'm doing stuff at home, which I figured it would eventually happen. But it's like I have to make time for that, and I have to make time for homeschool planning, and I have to make time for myself, my husband, my marriage, The list goes on, as we all know, right, ladies? We know. It just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. And the world expects us to just with it. And, that doesn't always happen. We are currently reading The Wild Robot Protects, the third book. We started something else, The Pilgrim's Progress, and my son was like, there's a third book. We need to go back and read it. And so we stopped Pilgrim's Progress and we started reading Wild Robot Protects. So that's what we're currently reading right now. As we go into Black History Month, of course, we start reading Black History books. And the biggest and best thing that has come out this year for us and all of our, things and our Black culture and all of that. If you guys have not gotten yourself a copy of Soul School, you need to go get that copy. And so this book is just a wonderful, beautiful reminder of Black culture. And if you really want to share that with your kids, Amber did a great job. And there are lists and books and questions. I don't know if you can see that, but it is a well put together book. And if you are a Black mama, this is something that you definitely should add to your homeschool shelf. Is it necessarily for homeschool moms? No, if you're not a homeschool mom, this is something as a mom who has kids in public school that you can share with them about Black culture, good books. With having a 10th grader, and I feel like he's going to be gone in 2 years, I feel like we're going to be reading a lot of these books. So for me, I feel like having something in my morning basket where I could just go to the next book and things are there for me, discussion questions and all of that stuff. I love it. And it's honestly taking a lot off my plate. So I look forward to using this and to sharing with you as we read through these books too, how we like them and enjoy them. Bible's moving slow because we've been doing it with my husband, and so he's not always home at night. Sometimes he is, so we kind of have to work with his schedule. And it's worth it though, because when we do have it, it's great discussion and great conversation, and I love doing that. And that's why I kind of I'm impatient to wait on it. And so our not consume, we will probably take that into next year with us. And I have no problem with that. It's actually good because that means I can already check Bible off my budget for next year. And so I have been very mindful of how much money I've spent on homeschooling. And going into next year, I feel like because we put a lot of our budget for homeschooling outside, and then it's oh, you still want to buy curriculum. I feel like I'm trying to go into new ways to find better curriculum too for why am I using the word better? Using curriculum that doesn't break the bank, I should say. This year we went into it and I was feeling not necessarily better than last year. I kind of felt like mentally going into high school for the first year was kind of overloading. Now I'm trying to feel it out and really walk with my kids about as far as where are they going and what they're doing in their life, and not necessarily what I want them to do. It's their journey. So learning to journey along with them is a journey. So I'm always laughing at myself, y'all. First of all, in high school, resistance is real because I feel like the workload gets heavier. Now, if you are a mama who creates and things just come naturally and you have it all together, that's good. But I think one thing that is good to remember, don't stop doing what you love to do in your homeschool just because the curriculum becomes heavy. I feel like that's when you need to take a moment and say, all right, let me step back and figure out how I can break this down where we still can fit all these things in. And I really started to feel that. And then I had to be whoa, let me back up. Let me put in the projects that I know my child's going to like, instead of saying oh, these are the projects here, do that. Where, every chapter you're writing 500 words. My child doesn't write 500 words every chapter, So sometimes they're good and great suggestions, but sometimes it's oh, they don't really run right, or, so you just can't let the weight of high school curriculum and just being like, oh my gosh, if my child doesn't work for 5 hours exactly on this every week, he's not going to get credit for it, or he didn't do enough work. I beg to differ. So even if your child is like college prep and, you really want them to do the whole college thing, there's ways to do that without piling on every subject. So I'm definitely learning a lot in this 5th year of homeschooling. And so even as my youngest is walking into the 7th grade this year, I feel like I knew what I wanted to have for him. I knew what I wanted him to do. And even with stuff like, you know what, right now, science and history, like, it's cool. He getting a little bit of it. I feel like you get into high school, you're going to do it all over again anyway. So these years have taught me so much about education and feeling like when you say reading, writing, and math and speaking, I'll throw in there, those are important in life. I feel like the other things are good, but if your child's not going to be a scientist or go into history or, sometimes those things don't need to be as exaggerated as they could be in homeschooling curriculum. So the first book I'm reading in February is The Joy of Slow. Mind you, you're like, wow, you're reading all those books. Some of my books from January that I read, I got through 2 of them. One of them, when I started reading it, I was like, you're out. And the other one was like a reorganizing your house and all that stuff, which it was kind of a refresher, but I love reading through it anyway. And so, for February, I have The Joy of Slow by Leslie Martino, which I've been waiting to read. I've had this since December. Most of them I had since December. And then this one came out when life gives you homeschool lesson plans. And so, yes, I can't wait to read this too. This is by Ebony Jackson. And so I really like to support Black homeschool mamas. So I always buy their books. It doesn't matter. But as I read them, I will be letting you know how I feel about them. So Fast Like a Girl, this one I have started in January, and y'all, I already knew it was gonna happen. It's like a meaty book, so I was like, let me slow down. And talking about your hormones and emotions and fasting for women, because naturally they say fasting is not great for women, but this is just introducing you to like fast the way your body is. With life, you have to follow the rhythms and, being mindful. Like, you really have to pay attention to yourself. So the last 3 months, I noticed that I've been crying a lot more and I've been a lot more agitated. And I was like, whoa, I'm like, something is going on. Something is going on. So y'all, I'm in the back of my head, I'm not going to say a long time ago, but I was vegan. And it really, it did a lot of things for me. And even with the whole PMS and being cranky and all of that stuff, it really did help. So it's something I'm thinking about, y'all. And honestly, between that and my stress levels, my skin is breaking out all over with eczema. It's been a heavy last 6 months, I can say. And so, this year, even if people don't like it, I literally have said to my family at like 5 p.m., I'm going in my bed and I'm going to relax because I need it. We all need it. And I think sometimes we need to stop feeling like, oh my gosh, my house is going to fall apart and burn down. And honestly, we are outgrowing our place. And so therefore, when you start outgrowing and there's just a lot of stuff, it's just going to be out of place. Will it be out of the place all the time? No. Is it okay if it's out of place? Yes. So I just have been giving myself a lot of grace and by no means I would say this. Like, as crazy as it is, I feel like I have a little OCD because I grew up in a house where my mother literally, I don't even know how she had kids because the house was never dirty. And so automatically, you know, as a mom, like, oh my gosh, I'm a mom and a wife, so of course I have to replicate that. My mom always has her house clean. And so I've learned to tell myself, yeah, right, and let it go. I have teenagers, and yeah, that's what life looks like. And sometimes when I just can't handle it or can't do it and I need to sit down, I just have to let it go. And that is, I can't even believe, like 2 years ago, I would never tell myself that. It was like, nope, before you go to bed, it needs to get done. This needs to get done. And I'm actually happy for where I am, because I feel like as I start to like really care for the inside, the outside will follow. I have done so many things to try to lose weight, and even realizing into that, like, my stress levels though have always been high. So is my body going to lose weight if I'm stressed? No. So yeah, being more mindful. If you watch this far, let me know what you're going to be mindful of this year going into 2025, that it's already February. And it's so funny, going into the year, I was like, you know what? I'm not rushing to set goals. I'm not doing any of that, because I feel like when I get an idea, I feel more passionate about it because it wasn't rushed and I actually got to think about it and decide what I want to do about it. And so that makes me smile inside. So mamas, if you don't take anything else from this video, really sit back and just let your mind be free to feel it all before you make any decisions moving forward into your next homeschool year, into this year. Like, just freeze and just breathe and just give yourself a minute. And the last book I'm going to share, because this is the first, yeah, I don't read books. I do read books, but I don't read genres, like different type of, well, what I read is a genre. Anyway, I got this, The Lost Bookshop, because I wanted to read my first actual normal book. Not saying that I have never read any, but I'm not really like a story reader like some people are. They're like, oh my gosh, I read this story today and tomorrow I read a new one. Like, I'm not really that type of person, but I do want to read one. So I do have this in my February reads, The Lost Bookshop, but I hope that I like it. I feel like this is a popular book, but I don't really know what I like. So yeah. And if any of you know, for a newbie reader, as far as stories, sorry, my kids are so loud. Drop me some suggestions in the comments of a book to read. I might put it in my March stack and see how I like it, because I am the type of person that if I read the first like 5 chapters and I don't like it, I'm not going to read it. So yeah. Pray for me. Maybe I need to like just read through the whole thing and get it over with, so I can actually feel like, oh, okay, maybe I did like it, you know. But I tend to stop when I'm like, oh, this is boring me. So yeah. Guys, I know this video was a lot and I said a lot, but I'm glad that you guys are here, and I just wanted to give you an update, because I know it's probably not just me. Even with people being sick right now, it's real. So if your family is sick, feel better. And yeah, let's keep moving through. It's only February. We can make it. We gonna make it. I will check you guys out in my next video. All right. Peace out. Bye-bye.